waiting in my room. Make sense.
I'm not coming to your room.
You want me to come to yours?
You're sick. Need help.
I know. Help me, Derek.
In most psychological thrillers, the villain comes with a history of a traumatic past, a pattern of behavior, some defining moment that explains their descent into darkness. The movie we are looking at today, called Obsessed 2009, takes a different approach on the matter. The film's main antagonist, Lisa Sheridan, played by Ali Larter, appears without any backstory. She's introduced not as a woman spiraling from pain or heartbreak, but as someone already deeply unstable, dangerous, and of course, deeply obsessed. There are no flashbacks of how she came to be, no emotional reveals, and no hints at what made her this way. And strangely enough, the film works perfectly with this decision. I was already close to hitting my teens when I first saw this film. The only reason I saw it was because of Ali Larter. Beforehand, I used to see her on the original 2 Final Destination films as Claire Rivers and on the Resident Evil films, so it was cool seeing her in other movies. Derek Charles, played by Idris Elba, was a successful financial executive living a stable life with his wife, Sharon, played by Beyonce Knowles, and their young son. They've recently moved into a beautiful new home, and Derek was climbing the corporate ladder. He was a successful and loyal family man who tried to maintain professional boundaries when confronted with Lisa's obsession, which was him. Despite being targeted and manipulated, he remained focused on protecting his family and clearing his name. Sharon was a protective and strong-willed wife who initially doubts Derek, but ultimately stands by him when she uncovers the truth. She takes matters into her own hands when Lisa threatens her family, and of course, Lisa. She seemed like a nice temp worker whose obsession with Derek quickly turns dangerous and delusional. With no backstory or motive, she becomes a relentless and manipulative force driven by fantasy, not reality. Despite his professionalism and commitment to his wife, Lisa starts crossing boundaries, flirting, showing up unexpectedly, and making Derek uncomfortable. At some point in the movie, she follows him to a work conference and drugs his drink, attempting to seduce him in his hotel room. The next day, Derek woke up confused with no memory of what happened and was terrified about what Lisa might do next. As Derek tried to keep the situation under control, Lisa becomes more aggressive. She begins stalking him, sending him inappropriate emails, and making it look like they were having an affair. We will come back in just a moment how she made it look like an affair. But first, let's break down the movie, but from Lisa's perspective. Lisa Sheridan arrived at her new temp job full of confidence. She was attractive, sharp, and immediately takes notice of her boss, Derek Charles. He was successful, charming, and to her, clearly interested, even if he pretended otherwise. From her perspective, she believed that there was a spark between them. She thought that Derek was just being careful because he was a married man. At first, she tries to keep things subtle, like having flirtatious conversations, a lingering glance, and showing up at the right moments. But when Derek didn't make a move, she figures he was just holding back. So she leans in more and made her intentions obvious at the Christmas party, dressed and showed her lingerie to Derek in the parking lot where they work, and she also surprised him at the business work conference. The crazy part of it all was that she drugged him, convincing herself that he just needed a little push and then he'll realize that they should be together. When Derek woke up confused and distant, Lisa thought that he was being dishonest with himself. In her mind, their connection was real, and Derek's guilt is what was stopping them from being together. As Derek pulled away and tries to ignore her, Lisa becomes frustrated and hurt. She believes he was using her and that he was pretending nothing happened. Later that night, after the business conference meeting was done, Derek returned to his hotel room and found Lisa naked in his bed, having apparently overdosed on pills. Alarmed and unaware of how she got in, Derek immediately calls for help and takes her to the hospital. He tells the doctors that she may have attempted suicide, but Lisa acted emotionally worried, using the moment to make herself look like a victim of a broken relationship, further fueling the illusion that there was an affair. Derek denied everything on what she said, but this situation made his wife Sharon lose trust in him for some time. She kicked him out of their new home because he wasn't being honest and she needed time away from her husband. Eventually, they got back together. The situation made Derek realize that he should have told his wife what was happening all along, since the beginning. In a chilling moment near the end of the film, Lisa pretended to be Sharon's friend so she can fool the babysitter who was taking care of their son while they're away on their date so she can get in their house. When Sharon and Derek return home, they find that their son was missing and Sharon really started to panic. Moments later, the couple discovered that Lisa had taken Kyle but left him unharmed in their parked car. Lisa kidnaps her son not to harm him, but to show Derek how serious she is, how much she cares, and how much she belongs in his life. Sharon found her in their bedroom and she confronts her, and the final showdown turned violent. Lisa, still clinging to the fantasy of her and Derek being together, refuses to back down. In the end, she falls to her death, chasing a love that in reality never existed. Unlike many horror villains who get a tragic backstory to justify or explain their descent into madness, Lisa is frightening because she feels unpredictable and unexplained. Maybe the only part of the movie where the audience could sympathize with Lisa was when she mentioned to Sharon that she knows how it feels like when someone felt out of love for her. But then again, Lisa was the one that took things too far, that made every man she hit on turn the other way. Could she have been helped? Probably not. Endangering a child even though she never hurt the baby and drugging Derek is already unforgivable. In my opinion, she was too far gone. The film leans heavily on the fatal attraction archetype, the seductive, obsessed woman who wouldn't take no for an answer. Much like Michael Myers from Halloween or Norman Bates in Psycho, Lisa functions like a stalker or slasher villain in disguise. We don't ask why Michael Myers kills. We fear him because he just does. Lisa was the same way, being there when you least expected and escalating her behavior. The mystery makes her more terrifying than a therapy session ever could. By having some insight into Lisa's psyche, we will probably feel some understanding or pity. But the movie doesn't give the audience that. It wants the audience to experience the same confusion and disbelief Derek felt, which makes her actions feel even more shocking and irrational. Her being unpredictable was the main point. Obsessed creates a memorable villain by denying her depth on purpose. Lisa's lack of backstory turns her into a symbol of unchecked obsession, dangerous, seductive, and utterly unrelatable. In this movie, she was not there to be understood. She was meant to be feared.